Okay, hello everybody. It's so good to be with you. And look forward to spending this day and tomorrow with you. Okay, purpose. Is that I'm audible? Yes, can you hear me? Okay. Greenheart, our old friends. We have worked together several times. I've had the pleasure and the honor of having had an international symposium created for my birthday last year. Now I have another birthday coming up this year, so then I'm just over here now. This is a wonderful occasion to talk about purpose. What I have to say is I hope after a few minutes will be so self-evident that I won't even need to go on very much. Because it is something that we all know, but has not been able to formulate very clearly in such a way that it should be acceptable to the so-called scientific mind, to the rational individual, because it always has been accepted and acceptable to the intuitive individual. What I have in mind is very simple. There is a purpose to life. There is a purpose to the world in which life has emerged. And that world is the cosmos, is the universe born in the cosmos. There is something which is objectively there as soon as we can know how to look for it. We can find it. Life is not a haphazard insertion on the life on the web of this planet. Life is something that grows out of the universe. It grows continuously from the particles and the atoms and the molecules and the planets and then the galaxies and the planets on which life can happen. There is purpose behind this all. Now, how and why you can find this, the evidence, the proof of this purpose, is something that I have written, and many other people have as well, in a number of books. The latest of my books has been published a few months ago. It's called The Intelligence of the Cosmos. It's now in 6 languages, but I hope it will be also in German soon. So I'm not going to go into much detail of the evidence. I think it will be obvious. There has been a misconception about what life is, what mind is, what consciousness is, and therefore what purpose is. Misconception based on the fact that life and the physical reality are two separate things. That life somehow just emerged on physical reality, but it has its own dynamic, and it is detached from the world under it. And it's also a misconception that physical reality is just, as it used to say, one darn thing after another. This has been a saying about the positivists 100 years ago. You can't explain the world, it's just one darn thing after another. And today, on the mainstream of the physical sciences, we still believe that this universe, with all its planets, all its galaxies, all its relationships between the existing things, is just a product of random interactions. Random interactions starting probably with the Big Bang, 13.8 billion years ago, have created everything that we now see, everything that we now are. And these random interactions, by chance, have also created some things that appear to us as living things, and somehow we may be also part of that. So it's a very outmoded view that is still dominant in many parts of the modern world, of the Western world. We are here by chance. There's only random interaction. And that there's no point in asking about purpose. because there is no such thing. The world is just one thing after another. And life is a miraculous appearance, but it's basically a random appearance also. So there is no purpose for anything. I'm giving you what is the mainstream view underlying still today's thinking in the sciences, and it influences very much our everyday thinking, our everyday thinking in the world. Because what is the world? Okay, as I said, one darn thing another. What is life? Life is the struggle for survival. But there is no higher purpose for any of this. So it's time to overcome these things. It's time to recognize that this world, this whole universe, is like a living entity. It's dynamic. It's purposeful. It's moving in a direction that we can recognize. It's moving, to put it in the simplest possible terms, from chaos to order, from incoherence to coherence, from separateness to union, from indifference to love. The universe is moving toward love. The great physicist, German physicist, who everybody knows in today's world, Max Planck, he said he said in one of his last talks, that after his 40 years of research on atoms, he can tell you that there is no such thing as matter. But there are sets of vibrations, and these vibrations are held together by a force that we have to recognize as a higher intelligence in the world. This comes from Max Planck. Einstein said pretty well the same thing. We must recognize behind the laws of nature. And intelligence, in comparison with the human intellect, is pale, is shady, is just shaded, vague appearance. Jung, of course, Carl Gustav Jung, Schrödinger, listen to many of these scientists are Germans, are German origins, are Austrians, but many of them are Hungarians as well. And quite a few, of course, went to America, and the Americans have been writing and researching in America. Point is, there is more to this world than chance, than randomness. There is a general dynamic, a movement, a recognizable movement. And this movement doesn't characterize only the physical world or only the living world. What is the living world? There is a new conception, a new paradigm. Life is a natural emergence, a natural succession of the various processes that started with the Big Bang. Life is quite a logical succession, part of a succession, which leads to creating atoms and molecules and crystals and macromolecular objects, and eventually these self-maintaining cycles of cellular components which we recognize as life. And the higher levels of life, something emerges which has always been there, but has not been evident and we didn't recognize it. Great scientists did. For example, Spinoza. For example, Teilhard de Chardin, Alfred North Whitehead, many others, who said that mind is there in the atom, in the particles. Mind is there at the very foundation of the universe. So this system of life and mind and consciousness emerges out of the basis. And this basic is filled with some purpose. It is moving in a direction. Very simple, of course, to say that this is pure religion. This is spirituality. This is just, in the scientific context, it's just imagination. Except it happens to be the simplest, consistent explanation of what we find. You know, Einstein said that what we search for in science is the simplest scheme that can explain the facts. The simplest scheme that can explain the facts. is that the universe is moving in an observable, even measurable direction. This direction is from disconnection to connection, is from separateness to union. And ultimately it's reflected in our mind as a sense of belongingness, sense of love, the famous unconditional love, because it's not love against, in exchange for anything. The atom is a system of love of the proton and the neutron, and then the electron moving into it. Everything has purpose. Everything moves with a purpose. We don't recognize it, or didn't recognize it in the simpler levels. But life is not possible unless all the cells in our body, or in any living body, have collaborated, worked together in such a way that they create a living, sustainable organization. Some of this living process is almost so clearly purposeful that we can't ignore that is there. How is life on a higher level, on a mammalian level, possible? By reproduction. In this case, by multicellular reproduction. As you talked before about sexuality in the previous talk. What is basically that orients the spermatozoa to find the ovum? It's looking for it. It's searching. It's moving. It's not by chance. And against great odds, when it finds an ovum and can fertilize it, then life can continue. This is just one expression. But everything that occurs in this world is a purposeful movement toward union, toward togetherness, toward higher levels of system and order and organization. There is, of course, chaos. It remains. But what there was, and I say was, 13.8 billion years ago, was only chaos, as far as we can piece together from the evidence. When this universe was born, in this wider, deeper reality, which is the cosmos, there was only chaos, incoherence, a chaotic welter of events. But they were the laws of nature. The laws of nature, which is amounts to this kind of a will, this intention, this movement, which were such that out of this chaos emerged elements that joined together. We can now tell them they were vibrations of that saved the same phase, same frequency, same phase, and these compatible magnitudes. Then they created ensembles, clusters of vibrations. And these clusters still further together. And if you want to just pursue this line of thought, then we, nature around us, the universe in which we were born, is a system of supercoherent vibrations. We are that. That's what we are. Now, how did this run? This becomes so, as I said, it's pretty evident, but a couple of clues to this. There is a now mainstream. Not long ago, it was considered a very exotic theory. Mainstream theory in quantum physics. It's by David Bohm, originated by David Bohm, but many others picked it up now. And this theory is that there are two levels of reality, two levels of the universe. There is the implicate level and the explicate level. We call it order, implicate order, explicate order. Now, why is this relevant? Because you ask yourself, where is this impetus? Where is this drive? Where is this force that creates order out of chaos, that creates love out of disconnect? The answer is from no other place than quantum physics, in the implicate order. Now, implicate means enfolded. It's all folded together. It's all in one. And the world is that we observe, that we live, that we are, is the explicate order. It unfolds from the implicate order. So the implicate order is the deep level. Bohm was not the first to recognize it, obviously. The Greek philosophers knew it. Plato called it, the level of the soul. the ideas, the one. All the great metaphysical thinkers said that there is a deeper world, a deeper dimension of the world, out of which the observed world arises. So where is this motivation? Where is this intention? We must recognize it. It's not in space and time. Not in space and time. Because the space-time world is a product of this deeper level. So it cannot be a product of itself. The deeper level was always there. You can call it the Tao, if you want. You can call it the Brahman. You can call it the Godhead. It's a level, it's an order that the world has always known. And which is the realest, the truest level of all that we know, of all that we are. So think of it. Put it all together. Life is not a separate reality. It's a consequence of the evolution in the universe. The universe is one complete system. It's a quantum system of vibrations. And out of which emerges everything that we know. What we are also emerges out of it. And this whole basic reality, you can see it in different ways. Probably Jude Kerrivan, a good friend of mine today, this morning talked, because she always talks about the cosmic hologram. It's more likely to be a hologram. This deep, intimate order, the implicate order, is probably a cosmic divine hologram. This creates the laws of the universe. This creates the whole movement. This is something that is in us, drives us, motivates us. Because what David Bohm said, and I like to use his terms, he says that this implicate order informs, and he used informs is a hyphen. He actually is informing the explicate order. So we are informed. If you ask me, wearing sort of my scientific hat, who we are, I would say we are informed clusters of vibration. Doesn't sound very attractive, perhaps. You know. But what we are ultimately is part of a hologram. Therefore, we are not separate. We are not just here and now. We are part of the whole thing. I've said that much left, or that much I've gone?
7 minutes left for the two of you together.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. So I said that you probably think that you understand this implicitly. We are part of each other in a cosmic hologram. And what this takes us toward is a more coherent world. If you want to, and Maria will talk about the practical consequences. Do you want to be part of the evolutionary process? I think we all want to, whether we know it or not. Because we are a motivated, informed entity. And if we live with the order of the world, if we go with the order of the world, order of evolution, then we are fulfilled. Then we live truly, deeply. The great spiritual thinkers knew this. The great scientists are now recognize it. And it's something that joins frontier science and the deepest levels of spirituality together. It's all one. It's all a movement toward order, toward harmony, toward oneness, toward coherence. It's a great thing to recognize this. It gives you tremendous satisfaction. You know how to live coherently. Then live with the laws of the cosmos, laws that make the world what it is, make you what you are, each of us what we are. This can give great satisfaction, I think, and a great understanding. There is a cosmic purpose. It's not arbitrary, it's not just man-made. It's there in the world. We are an expression of that purpose. I now leave it to Maria, if you can, to say something about the notion of coherence as an expression of the divine cosmic purpose.
Okay, thank you. You better stand up. Thank you, Ervin, and thank you to all. We are very happy to be here with you. I would like to tell just briefly, a simple thing, how all these wonderful things what Ervin told us now just is realized in the everyday life. First of all, yesterday we had a wonderful evening, and we had a wonderful circle, and in this circle I experienced already that people are connecting, collaborating, and co-creating. That is really what we do all the time. I would like to tell you just an example which is a little bit not everyday like, but it shows and it underlies what Ervin told us, how this interconnection, how this supercoherence is in realization, for instance, in remote healing. Because what we did yesterday in the evening, it was there. It was also an example of remote healing, because we are all an entity, but we are entity within our circle, within our partnership with our family, and in our community, and in our city, and so on and so on and so on. How is it possible? If you do remote healing, then you have this fantastic experience that you do, and you can influence others, and you can help others. The main thing is to help others in many distance, in all distance. It can be like here, it can be like there, or it can be 1,000 kilometers or 2,000 kilometers, doesn't matter. It is that it happens not in space and time, because all these, what we are doing through consciousness and through thinking, it is out of the space and time what we are realizing through our senses. The main thing is that the senses are just a little bit, just a very, very, very little part of our realization. But what we really sense, that is through our brain, through our cells, through our body, through all our entity, that is what we always realize. Therefore, it's possible that all this group work and all this meditational work and all these sessions, what we do together, has a healing effect. Because what we sense and what we attract this time is not just the senses, what we realize in senses, but our whole body, all senses are attracting all the vibrations and all the informations of others. So you are sitting here, and you are now a big entity. Not only separate people here after each other, but you are an entity. You have now a common vibration. We all have a common vibration. How we are looking and how we are paying attention to Ervin, for instance, what he told us now, that we are in a supercoherence. That it means that our body and our cells and our mind and thinking and impressions and emotions, the main thing is that our emotions become coherent and supercoherent. How Ervin told, everybody knows that coherence, what does it mean coherence? That all our body, the body functions are always coherent. So if you have something bad in your body, finger or something like that, then you have some pain. Then the whole body works on a not that good level, not that super coherent, not that coherence level, but a lower level, because every little thing what happens to your body, it is in a coherence flow. And the same happens if we are in a bigger entity, like here. It means now we are a super coherent entity right now, because many, many, many vibrations are getting together, and all these vibrations are going to move together. And how we realize it, that is the motion, that is the emotion, and that is the love, what we name love and unconditional love. Because if you are sitting in a situation like that, then you are calm, you feel good, you feel loving, you feel that I am here on the right place. That is a very good feeling. I am right in the right place. That means I am here, I am good, I am loving. So this is all these emotions, what you transfer in this world, which is not anymore the space and time, although you are sitting here. But all this vibration is already inside in this Akashic field. And all these vibrations, what we are giving inside into the Akashic field, it comes back, and it is the possibility how we can work, and how we can do, and how we can work for a better world. That is the only possibility, because not everybody can be a remote healer. It's not the summit. It is not the purpose. The purpose is that we build a better world. And how can we build a better world to all of us? That we are thinking on the best. We do our best. We do our best on our capability and capacity and in our work, because somebody has to be a cook, another one has to be another. And if you are a very good cook, then your purpose is to do a better work, because you eat, you feed the other people with a better vibration. You surely know that in the Far East, all the monks has a rule that only the higher spiritual level, the person who is on the higher spiritual level can be a cook. Why? Because a cook is the most important person in the family and in a community, because the cook is feeding the other people. And you not only feed people with the material, you also feed the vibration and your thought and your giving and your love. And therefore it's really a rule. If you are angry, if you are tired, if you are, I don't want anymore, then please do not cook and do not give eating to the other person, because you give also this bad energy. So the main thing is that you have to forward always the best of your energy, the best of your knowledge, the best of your emotions, the best of your love, and in that case you can realize all this coherence and this supercoherence in a family like we are. So if you are interested, I am ready to speak about remote healing in details, because it's an absolutely important thing and interesting thing. The only thing what I would like to mention, because the time is over, that remote healing is not just a fantasy, because in the physical reality you can also measure the effect of the remote healing. You know, in Germany, in Stuttgart, there is a brain research institute of Günther Haffelder, and Haffelder made a lot of research and a lot of measurement in this field, and he found out that with this new method, he is capable to measure the limbic system, how our limbic system are working. Through electrodes through the patient and through the healer, you can measure and you can see that the information what the healer is sending to the patient is arriving in the patient's mind after 2 seconds of the healer has it sent to the patient. So, and it is fantastic, and it is proved, it is proven. So you can read it, you can write it, you can try it again. I was also an expert and an example in this research many times, and Haffelder does it with many healers. So it is the fact that the information and the energy arrives not the energy like this, but this energy, what is transferred through information, arrives to the other person's mind. So therefore, I wish you a fantastic event and a weekend here, because all the thinking and all the information, what you transfer to the other people here, arrives to everybody's minds. Thank you very much.